In the previous episode, we get to know about the situation of the current Jiuan Island. If you never heard this name, then for your information, this is the island ruled by Godzilla and Ape Girl. Previously, the commander offered his help to Jinwo, and they are about to leave for the island. While Su Ling anxiously asked him why he fell into his trap. Here, Jinwo replies, as he wants to know the truth about the island that makes it so close to his dad and mom, and for the other reason, he will never get another chance in the future, as his mom has restricted him to even talk about this island. By the way, today, he lied to his mom as he said that Su Ling had picked him from school. He just always creates trouble for Su Ling. They enter inside the plan. And surprised to find it's inside, they recognize Jinwo. As their director said about him, he's the one who solved the crisis of the Dai Society. As he's hero, they have to take good care of him. Su Ling whisper on his ears as she can clearly see their ill intention towards him, and says him to stay on alert. One of the boy bad mouth about the Dai Society, as they have to depend on Little Brat for their rescue. Also, their countermeasure bureau is different, as they are Hidden Dragon and Tiger. He says him that the task of countermeasure bureau are not something they can easily get through, and says him to keep his little pet out from this plan, as this is not a suburban plan. Cause Godzilla furious, so he slam him on the wall. The impact is too much even for super being. Jinwo didn't miss the chance, and says, how can he even talk when he's even less powerful than his pet? Aren't they the Hidden Dragon and Tiger? While others were too shocked to say something. Su Ling proudly says no one in their Dai Society had such expression on seeing a pet. At this time, Su Ling and Jinwo didn't know that a great change was about to come. While Xin came back to Jinwo's apartment, her mom checked his bag and understand that something is wrong, and Jinwo must have gone to visit Chen Dongliang behind her back. She's extremely furious, as he dares to rebel against her. Furiously slam the door, and the scene shift towards the counter-measure bureau. It's disastrous, as everything is rumbled, and all the guard of the counter-measure bureau is beaten up. The guards are in great fear, even though they are just facing a normal human being. Furious mom shout and says to come out Chen. Where did he hide her son? Commander Chen finally came out from the building. The guards finally got some relief. He greet his sister-in-law and says that, you are late. Jinwo has already boarded the plan to Jiuan Island. Surprise her, and she looks at the sky. Theirs are several plans flying in the sky. Xin came back towards the plan. They have reached the sea area 20 nautical miles away from Jiuan Island. The thunderclouds surrounded the island. The accompanying fight crew became ready to land. He asked, should we start the landing on Jiuan Island operation? He ordered to execute the plan. The island landing operation begins, and each group changes its operation queue according to the plan, and order fighter crew to ready for combat. The fighter jet ready their missiles. They actually never landed successfully on this island, but this time, they would surely become successful. Jinwo asked about the reason for his excitement. Isn't it just an island flying in the sky? Why would he be so excited? So Su Ling says the countermeasure bureau has tried to land on the island many times before, but all ended in failure. It is said that Jiuan Island and its nearby sea areas are covered by a strong and strange magnetic field. This magnetic field will interfere with the equipment on the passing aircraft and ships, causing them to crash. The crew members laugh and says she is worthy being a top student in Dai Society. She has recited exactly as it is in the book. It is pity that only few like them have know about the true cause of magnetic field. Their commander says them to stop talking nonsense and concentrate. They have entered the magnetic field of Jiuan Island. Soon the warning message appears on the screen. The magnetic field starts affecting their plan, cause their instruments to malfunction. Although they reach so closer, but it still seems to be impossible. He ordered the fighter crew to launch missiles. The fighter plan launch several missiles. Jinwo asks if this is the sound of missiles. Are they landing on the island or bombing it? The missiles move towards the thunder cloud, and all of them blast on, hitting the dark clouds. He became excited as all the 4 missiles hit the target. But it's actually hit on something else. Jinwo anxiously asks, "Is that a monster in the thick fog?" Cruise missiles are completely ineffective. It's a giant ape, looks similar like Monkey King. Its height is 40.9 meters and weight 36 tons. The crew commander says them not to get panic, as this is all expected. The missile is just to attract the attention of a giant ape. Then he send an order to the troop transport crew, and take advantage of the fighter crew to divert the monster's attention. Rush toward the Jiyuan Island with all their strength. The fighter plans moves to divert the attention of the giant ape. While the Monkey King is waiting with his giant stick, he roars and several void form, which starts sucking all the fighter plan inside it. Shocked by his power, their fighter plans unable to defend against it. Moreover, due to the influence of the magnetic field, all the radar and video equipment failed, but they can't sit still and wait for their death. He ordered to increase their speed and try their best to reach on the island. In other words, the actual cause of the magnetic field on Jiyuan Island is the power of the giant ape. Su Ling also assumed that this is some kind of strange superpower, and even with their ability, it's impossible to even scratch him. The legendary ape then trigger his attack and crush all the fighter jet and blast them. He starts laughing on their weakness. Then notice, many humans starts landing from the plane. While one of the plans still struggling on the sky, Su Ling actually maintained this giant plan with all her strength. But it's still impossible, as they are still 20 to 30 meters away from Jiyuan Island, and it's at an altitude of 8,000 meters. Their commander says to have trust on her ability and attack on this giant ape. While the ape is ready to have some fun, it's jump higher and higher, just like it can fly, and reach for the plan. It's about to crush it completely. Jinwo noticed on their arriving death and became anxious. The giant ape launches attack. Jinwo rushed to protect Su Ling, makes her little embrace. While his Godzilla is up for something, he confidently stay on front. And just when the monkey reached near to them, it transformed back into his original size. Even this giant ape looks small in front of him. Shocked little ape by this sudden plot twist. The scene switched back in time to the Countermeasure Bureau. The commander asked about the whereabouts of Zuemu, but Bird Girl refused to tell him. He says it's up to her whether to say it or not, but she should know. Not only the DAI Society, but also the entire Tianhai City wants to capture Zuemu. In this case, the only person in the Tianhai City who can help him is his countermeasure. So she says about Dr. Location, he's in Jiyuan Island, but Jiyuan Island is currently in sky, and it's not easy to reach there. So how could Zuemu able to reach there? That's right, there is a giant ape on Jiyuan Island. No matter what kind of machine vehicle it is, it will be shot down if it gets close. However, Dr. Zuemu and she have their own way of landing on the island. As long as Commander Chen promised to protect Dr. Zuemu's safety, no matter how to get on the island or where the research laboratory is, she can tell everything, he assured her. Then ask another question. He asked Zuemu to sneak into the examination room and wait for the mechanism to become chaotic. But he ignored his instructions and ruined all his plans, also caused such a big commotion. He just want to know what the reason is. Or more specifically, what happened inside the stadium. Bird Girl become anxious. She still doesn't think if it's all right to say about the Zuemu's actual motive. He didn't force her to answer this question and says her to do something for him. After all, monsters appears on the street of Tianhai City is not a small deal, and there is no reason for him to help in Vine. Jinwo will be here too, and he want her to cooperate with him in putting a show to lure him to Jiyuan Island. And Commander Chen is not so dumb to not understand what's the true motive of Zuemu, what's he was doing for 16 years in Jiyuan Island. Back to the present. They used Jinwo to distract the giant ape attention towards them, while by using some pterosaurs, they all reach near the island through different direction. And they are actually controlling this birds through this bands. Chen-Hu is really enjoying this monster of Suemu. While the chief looks at the fight of giant ape, the giant ape indeed is very perceptive and capable. The giant ape seems to use electromagnetic waves to locate its enemies. It's a wonderful strategy to ride a bird to the island. While Bird Girl is worried as she knows about Jinwo's ability, and she doesn't know why, but feel worried about that kid's safety. She thinks maybe because of his weird touch ability, or maybe because what happened today. Director order her to lead them. She is leading them to Zumu's laboratory, while someone under the shadow is observing them. While Chen-Hu is carefree as he thinks it's safe as long as they ride on such giant bird. But the shadow leap and reach on the bird. In no time, Chen-Hu became a hostage, although human beings hide their weaknesses, but their weakness will always pop out on their own. Chen-Hu became anxious and says, "Don't dare to lay hand on him. He's the son of Commander of Countermeasures of Tianhai City. He says, as a son of man, he should know the pain and fear of death, so no one will ever dares to bully other animals." Chen-Hu got scared and moved backwards. He doesn't understand. If it's a ghost or monster, came out of nowhere. He assure him he's not interested in weak people. He just came here to borrow this pterosaurs, to rescue the child of his old friend. The other security force warned Samurai Wolf to let him go, and one of them ready to shoot on him, so other one hit on his head, as the bullets can hit on Chen-Hu too. Their commander ordered to get out from his way as he transform into his muscular form. Even they are not on land, but their captain still wants to show his physical strength. Samurai Wolf feels pity for him. As he goes to land his giant punch on him, so Samurai Wolf took his stance, and just like a samurai, he easily cut his skin like a paper. Samurai Wolf gets surprised, as this guy's skin is too thick. He caught his sword and says, he's a muscle power awakener. His body is as tough as any defense-based monster. But that's just for one hit. What if he cut continuously? Also, his weight is too much for this little beast to bear with. But little time will be enough to defeat him. Samurai Wolf make funs of him. He's just as simple as any brainless monster. Haven't you ever heard? Shoot the horse first before shooting the man. He launched Force Slash and cut down the pterosaur. 'Cause to fall down, so Bird Girl dive and caught him. He didn't expected her to come to save him. She's just fulfilling their agreement. But they find that the wolf already left. He says if she deliberately makes the wolf escape. But she refused, as she's not as strong like him and unable to beat that wolf. Also, the another term of their agreement is to lure Jinwo on Jiyuan Island. The scene came back to the giant ape side. He used the fighter get to attack on Godzilla, but he easily destroy it by using his bite force, scare this monkey. So he fall back on his dark cloud and tried to escape, but Godzilla doesn't has any intention to make him leave. So he starts using his explosive breath attack. While Jinwo shout, "This plane is about to crash," and says him to change back quickly. Ape notice on this, so he use his giant stick by using all his strength and swing this giant stick towards them. This is so big that they all look so tiny in front of it. Godzilla became shocked as the stick hits on them, shatters the plane, cause a great damage on Godzilla. This long and thick thing is enough to finish them. He grins, while this tiny thing starts falling. Suling also exhausted and unable to do anything in this situation. Jinwo thinks if he can transform into Bird Girl, although she was just half tamed, while they starts falling in this giant and dark hole, but suddenly gets saved by pterosaur. Jinwo confusingly asks, "What's going on?" He notice on Chen-Hu and shock, then starts fighting like kids. Chen-Hu says, "This monster said he wanted to save people, but it turned out he wanted to rescue them. The son of the traitor is indeed on the same side as the monster." Jinwo doesn't understand what he's talking about and why he's here. It must be there another crooked idea. Some days them to stay quiet, while the giant piece of a plane almost fall on them, so Su Ling used her little bit of remaining strength to levitate it for a second, but just managed to show it a title. So Samurai Wolf says her to stowing this and rest a little. Just stay quiet and watch the show. He ready his sword and swiftly leap, and after analyzing this part a little, he cut this metal piece into multiple pieces. They became shocked just what kind of monster this is. It actually collides head-on with a plane. His power is extraordinary. Then he came back. Samurai Wolf is carrying the crew captain, so Su Ling asked why he's still here. Didn't she ask him to jump off the plane? He shamelessly confessed that he actually afraid of height, so he didn't jump from the plane. Then Jinhuo remembered about his Godzilla and became anxious. Samurai Wolf says there is no need to go back and look for it. There is nothing left on plane. Moreover, there are so many people on the island other side, so they need to find a place to put everyone down first, while Jinhuo promises Godzilla that he will come back for him later. So Samurai Wolf assured him his monster is tougher than he think. The scene came back on Monkey's side. His Godzilla is actually on top of the stick and having some evil plan on his mind, while Giant Ape is proud on his work. Then Godzilla slide little down and prepare his explosive breath to make sneak attack. His senses notice it, but it's already too late now, as Godzilla shoot his explosive breath on him and cause a great destruction, as it's penetrated through the sky and create a massive on the land. Godzilla became too hungry, as he didn't have any meal for long, so he starts moving on the cloud like a lizard, as he doesn't understand how he able to stay in top of it. Then he notice on something. This cloud got charged with his lightning, and soon several red lightning strikes on the land, which resulted in killing several giant beasts of the island. This is unintentional feast for Godzilla. The scene again came back on Bird Girl's side, the reached near to Zuemu's research laboratory, while one of them asked if they really should ignore Chen Hu, but some of them really doesn't care. It's not like he doesn't care about Chen Hu, but as he already arrived here, so he will first say hello to Professor Zuemu. The bird girl called for him. He's on miserable condition, although he managed to escape from Dai Society Stadium that time. But his wounds still unable to get healed by insects, so he had to stitch them, and it took a lot of time for him, so he couldn't able to save her. Then Bird Girl tries to explain him the matter, as this is just a small matter for him, so he asks him to get directly to the main point. Chen Dongliang must have asked him to take over this research institute, right? It's a pity that the old man failed to use all his tricks and smashed his own foot instead. Then suddenly the land starts shacking. Bird Girl anxiously asks about the reason for this earthquake. He wanted to trick that boy Jinwo into becoming cannon fodder. But just now, Jinwo's monster defeated the giant ape, that guarding Jiyuan Island. As they are already about this too fact that this Jiyuan Island is flying high in the sky, and there is also a guardian ape that can use gravity powers. Director says him to get direct to the point. So he says, haven't they ever thought that there might be a connection between these 2 points? This Jiyuan Island relies on the gravity power of the giant ape to fly in the air. If the giant ape falls, the entire island will fall with it. Muscle Man become furious, as it seems they don't want to cooperate with them honestly. He says, on the way here, following the path he provided, they encountered a monster with the head of a beast and body of a human. It suddenly appeared and kidnapped Chen Hu. And now he criticized this kind of lie. If he don't says everything honestly, he will use different method to make him talk. On the other side, the monsters which get struck by lightning is now getting devoured by Godzilla, and he's receiving several evolution points from it. Soon enough, his height got raised to 29 meters, and weight 226 tons. He's actually smaller compared to giant ape size. while the beast starts panicking as they are already terrorized by this type of dragons. But Godzilla is already full. While he turned his head on right, all the beast run away. Same goes for left side beast too, as they are running after seeing him. So how can he catch them now? Then he got an idea. And look at the black dark cloud. At the same time, Jinhuo and other landed safely. The crew captain re-clarified the purpose of this trip to investigate the natural environment of Juwan Island and capture Suemu. All four of them must obey him. While Chen Hu shout from his back, didn't he still notice that this tall thing on black robe is a monster? And it kidnapped him. He've seen him before, his face under the hat. It's a wolf face. Moreover, he personally admitted that he came to save Jinhuo. It must be Jinhuo's father who surrendered to the monster. They are in the same group. So the chief forms some weapon and launch an attack on Samurai Wolf. But single-handedly got counter by Samurai Wolf. He gets shocked by his martial art technique, so he launch another double attack, but still get dodge easily. And this time, he raised his claw and landed it on his body, cause him to fly far away. But he again stands up, and by using his remaining force form, his most powerful attack. A 40-meter sword, as expected from countermeasure team captain, he able to transform his aura into a physical form. Then he rushed towards him and jumped to slay him. Using gas to transform into knife is interesting, but for the sake of his old friend, he'll just play with him. Suddenly, once again, Jinwo's notification shows red alert, as the aura value has exceeds its measuring limits. It's immeasurable. Samurai Wolf transformed back into his giant wolf form, and his aura was enough to fly him away, while Samurai Wolf goes to catch the sword, and with his simple bite, he shatters it into pieces. This just a little display of power. He have never seen such a fragile spiritual energy sword. It's Samurai Wolf, the sword master of the monster family. They became anxious. She didn't expect it. Monster can also disguise like humans. Moreover, he's afraid that his strength is far superior. Jinwo thinks they can attack with their scalp first, and then wait for an opportunity to escape. Jinwo get transformed in his Godzilla form. But Su Ling warns him to, don't do this stupid thing, as the aura excluded by this monster is extremely powerful, and they are no match for this monster. He know it, but he want to try it. Then his phone starts ringing. Who picked this time to call? And isn't this a secret realm? How does there is network here? It's from his mom. She is extremely furious and starts scolding him. She will get him soon and take care of him properly. He question, how can she able to call him on secret realm? She just says, she's going to beat him to his pulp for his this behavior. Just stay where you are and don't move. She actually arrived here. Jinhuo begs for mercy and says to talk about it on their home, as it will be too embarrassing for him to get beat in public. As Samurai Wolf noticed on the helicopter, he run away from here. Su Ling became confused why he suddenly run away, while they became happy as they survive. The helicopter land, and his mom came out from it. She says him to get here, with her weapon ready. She asks, where is Jinhuo? Su Ling says, he was there just now. She starts searching for him, then notice on a pit hole, and became more furious. And punch on the tree. She's extremely furious, and her single punch is enough to break this thick tree, scared every single of them. While at little distance, Samurai Wolf is watching on it. He asks, why did he followed him? He says he came to this island to find his father, but if his mother find it, she will definitely refuse it. So he hoped that he can hell him to escape from this danger. He asks, aren't he afraid that he will eat him? He's a monster. If his sword has to cut them, they would all have been dead. Although he don't know why he came for his aid, he don't think he have any ill intentions. And he know his mother, right? Samurai Wolf surprise. How do he know? It's easy to guess. When he heard the voice over his call, his expression changed, and he looked at the helicopter and run away. He bite his bag and throw him on his back. He says, not only he know his mother, but he also know his father. And not long ago, he was with him. Jinwo, anxious, ask, "His dad, where is he?" and request him to take to him. Then suddenly this island starts shaking, and a giant rock falls towards them. But Samurai Wolf easily cut it into pieces by using his giant sword. The island has been shaking since just now. "What's going on?" Samurai Wolf says. "That savage ape can use gravity powers, and Jiyuan Island relies on him to fly to the sky. He was knocked unconscious. His gravity powers gradually became ineffective, and the island would fall down at any time." Jinwo became worried that this island will collapse into the sea, but his mother just came on the island. Samurai Wolf says, "Didn't she came here on helicopter? They can leave at any critical moment." As Jinwo says before that he'll do anything as long as he let him meet to his father. So Samurai Wolf confirm it again, and he accepts it without any second thought. Samurai Wolf became happy on his quick response. Actually, he just need his help with something. Then he again run away, as his mother may have noticed them, and reach near to the big hole. This hole is created by giant ape when he fell down. Jinwo asks, "What they are doing here?" He says they are going to jump from here. He says him to hold on tight, and he leaps on the hole. Jinwo hold him tightly and enjoy this ride. After a moment, he landed on the ground. Jinwo asks if they are at the bottom of the cave. Not yet. And he feels they are getting followed. He says him to not act on his own and just follow him. Then suddenly, someone placed his hand on his shoulder. As he turned to look back, it's Lin Shen, his father.